So, hello, for beautiful bruskies and bruskies of Maverick Nation, and this is part 3 of What If Naruto Was Indra's Reincarnation. Yes, this is part 3 of that. Well, last time I checked, where we left off was basically at the end of the first encounter with Zabuza. Now, we start this part off with, well, Kakashi basically having everyone learn how to climb trees and walk on water. You know, the usual shtick. Well, I'm gonna go through the whole thing about the different characters and how they're gonna go about this. Naruto by Tamari and Sasuke. Basically, them all given the instruction that too much chakra and you'll basically be blasted off, but too little and you'll not even be able to stick in the least. And so, Naruto, channeling his inner power, it would think, he would think and think, just until he basically he thought back to before, whenever he was learning how to, chakra control, through different parts of his body. One of the parts that he did the least amount of chakra control training on was his feet. And just now being told that the feet are the most hard thing to get chakra to and control, Naruto is now on a mission. Well, another mission that he was already on. Naruto has many missions that he's on already. Naruto begins to think. That's basically whenever he reaches the peak of, well, his own, mental sort of roller coaster. It just kind of resides there for a while. Until finally, he asks Sakura for help. And basically everything will go on like in the anime and manga. All the way up until the whole shtick of Naruto arriving in the nick of time, with Tamari being the one to guard the bridge builder. Sasuke being stuck in Haku's ice mirrors. And his Habusa and Kakashi having the ultimate ninja throwdown. Well, whenever that all happens, well, Naruto would still get into the demonic ice mirrors, but for different reason. The reason that, basically, the same reason Sasuke gave for Naruto to leave with everyone else whenever Gaara was flipping his shit. That he will basically, protect his friends and all. Like, he won't let his comrades die. Naruto basically giving that as the reason. He doesn't want Sasuke to die, so he's basically gonna go in there. And, well, basically, Haku would go for Send on Throw. And this will be the one that would take Sasuke down finally. However, instead of that, Naruto would pull some holy shitness. With Naruto's Mangekyo Sharingan flaring up. However, Naruto would have kind of done like multiple things at once. First, he would have put Sasuke under a genjutsu that would have made him think it was only 3 Tomoe, whenever it was actually his Mangekyo Sharingan. And technically, like, the range of this genjutsu would basically make it so that everyone thought it was just his 3 Tomoe. And the second thing, well, would be the catching and then breaking of the Senbon in Naruto's hand. Naruto would basically then pull some Tsukuyomi shit on Haku, because, you know, there were several things that Haku said that would, you know, kind of communicate to Naruto that this guy will lay his life down for Zabuza, but he did not want that to happen, so he basically put him sleep via Tsukuyomi. That was the second thing. And the third thing, basically, Zabuza would kind of been brought to tears whenever seeing this and knowing the reason why and everything. Would have kind of been brought to tears. And, you know, there was still would have been a Raikiri shoved through him. But that's whenever, before Zabuza would have died, he would have heard and seen Gato being his dickish self. And even admitting that he didn't even plan on paying him because he said he was too expensive. And, you know, even, you know, playing around with Haku's dead corpse. Or at least what he thought was a dead corpse. He didn't really know what Naruto did to him, but he didn't care. In his mind, he felt that this little kid was too scared to actually fight him back. And that is where Gato was very, 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 very wrong. Basically, Zabuza and Kashi and Gato, Gato's men, and anyone of Team 7 and the bridge builder that were still conscious would see something that looks like green energy. Erupting green energy from Naruto's body. As Naruto would then say, "Majestic attire, Susanoo." Human form. Yes, majestic attire, Susanoo, human form. Or humanoid form. And then he would say, "Now, armored form, majestic attire, Susanoo." Then it would go from the humanoid form to the armored form. But it would be green because in class of ninja, like, revolution, that's And in the cutscenes, that's what Shisui's Susanoo looked like. It was green. And seeing as it's Shisui's eye, Naruto Susanoo would be freaking green. Basically, what would happen is, seeing as Naruto has, other powers, what would automatically happen afterwards is basically, from the armor would then be sprout out a weapon and its ammunition, a bow and arrow. So yes, it looks like Shisui's, but it acts like Sasuke's. Because, yes, this will basically be like that. And basically, this is when Naruto, fully imbued with the rage of just like killing intent and bloodlust, would finally come at the cusp, like the very cusps of something like Amaterasu, but beyond that, Blaze release, Amaterasu flame control. And seeing as he was in his Susanoo form, it would be Susanoo flame control. And that's whenever basically Gato and all of Gato's men, they would all just explode in a giant plume of black fire with green aura, like a green aura, just kind of emits from the black flame. Like, like just a black flame with a green aura emitting, coming off of it. That's basically what would have been the end result of the Susanoo flame control of Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha, the reincarnation of Indra Uchiha. With Shisui's eye. The one that Danzo didn't steal. And, well, the giant explosion of black and green, the townspeople that would have been rallied up by Inari would kind of be jumped back a little bit, like, what the? And, well, yeah, that would have been that entire situation, just settled there and then. And, well, because of the giant explosive sound and the giant emission of light that came afterwards, like a freaking sonic boom pulse thing, well, Haku would be conscious, but instead of Team 7, like, either killing Haku or, anything else, Naruto would actually make a proposal. He's kind of rebuilding the Uchiha clan and considering what kind of powers Haku had, and, the fact that Haku kind of knows now that they kind of can't really escape from the shinobi world the way they've already went so far in. And this is probably the best that they can probably, think of actually getting. And basically, Kakashi want to know what the hell that was that Naruto just did. And, Sasuke thinking, making certain assumptions what it could possibly be. Temari having no idea. And you live in the people of the Land of Wave are gonna know what the hell a Susanoo is. And the fact that he was only able to get it to go all the way to the armored state because of just how pissed off he was. It got to just being a dick. And so, yeah. Basically, Naruto saying that he wants to make certain things, clan secrets until he can, verify that they can, be talked about without any hint of trying to use these, these things about the clan against them. And basically, Naruto would want to hide it from Kakashi, but there would kind of be, kind of how Izuku had, several hero journals. There would be, different kind of journals that Naruto would have, different kind of people in the village. Now he feels about them. And just so happens that he would have one of these journals, just so happened to have one of them on hand. For what reason, Kakashi wasn't really automatically Kakashi really didn't understand. It is until he saw the name that was on the page that Naruto was currently reading whenever he mentioned that whole thing about keeping secrets so that things aren't able to be used against them. The name on the page was Danzo Shimura. And Kakashi, he would be like, he'd be Kakashi would be, basically, Kakashi just noticing that at the time that he did. Yeah. Let's just say, with the fact that Itachi no longer being in the leaf, and that making the only two blood Uchihas, Naruto and Sasuke, and the strength difference in between the two of those people, considering what Naruto just did, yeah, it's obvious who's stronger. And so, well, if he ever was given a seat in the council as the clan head of the Uchiha in the midst of the council, yeah, Danzo better freaking find some sort of hidden ninja way of sleeping with with both eyes open all the freaking time. He better find some secret ninja mastery way of being able to sleep with both eyes open at all freaking times. And so, yeah, basically, you'll request and everything, but Haku would indeed bring up about his whole ice release Kikaigenkai. Now, that kind of goes against the whole fact that the Kikaigenkai of the the Uchiha is the Sharingan. And, Naruto would just be like, well, maybe, yeah, that's true for me and Sasuke, but I also have inside of me the blood of the Uzumaki, which allows me to use the chopper chains. And he also brings up, well, the fact that Tamari, the basic, of her offense and her defense has to do with her ninja weapon, her fan. And the fact that she wasn't even originally a part of the frickin' Leaf Village. She basically self-integrated herself into the Leaf Village from, the frickin' Land of Wind. And it's the reason why her name is Tamari Sabaku Uchiha. So, basically Naruto would be like, if you feel like it, I mean, in regards to however you feel about your past, you can, if you don't want to, you don't have to. If you do, you can. It doesn't matter. I mean, of course it matters, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. I mean, I know that most likely doesn't make any sense to you, but I'm trying here. Naruto would just be trying really hard to get Haku to understand. And Haku finally come to understand and be like, well, I see. And Haku just being like, well, my clan name is Yuki. So, I guess, as soon as I am integrated into the leaf and soon enough the compound, I will be Haku Yuki Uchiha. And Haku would even note something that Tamari was thinking about in the past, of how he lets people into the clan who don't even have Sharingan eyes themselves. Basically, Naruto would just now be like, well, I guess my goose is cooked. Now I have two people on my case about that. But technically, only one of you is a woman, so I guess that would be the only one I could go after for right now. Mori, if you and me sometime in the future, just saying, just hypothetically, that would mean that there would be another blood Uchiha. And they may even have a major wind affinity along with a major fire affinity. Like a double major affinity lot. And, and Tamari's just like, wow, Naruto really is thinking ahead. Like, he already knows. Like, he's got his shit down. And Haku's like, why exactly would you be wondering about women? I mean, that is unless it's extremely integral to your situation right now. And Naruto would admit the whole thing about the CRA to Haku. And then Haku would be like, oh my. Basically, Haku would be like, well, if you're in need of women, I could indeed help you. And basically, Naruto would be like, that's great and all, but I think we should wait until we're back at the village. Before we put anything else on our plate. And basically, Haku would kind of give the signal that, understand, they understand. Basically, whenever everybody was finally at the village, we would be at the Uchiha compound. And, well, Naruto, the first thing that Naruto would actually have to explain is what exactly he did there. Because not only is Sasuke freaking out wanting to know, but Tamari, more or less not really freaking out, but, kind of teasing Naruto about this. But, in the kind of way that, loving couples do whenever they just want to mess around. And, well, Naruto would be like, okay, fine, and I guess since we have a new member, I guess that would be, considered a good thing. It's called the Susanoo. And it's the third ability of the Mangekyo Sharingan. The first one that I have is, well, that of Tsukiyomi. And the second one, Amaterasu. And the third one is, like I said, Susanoo. And Naruto will just explain how the Susanoo, Tsukiyomi, and Amaterasu work. Because, there are certain people, unlike Naruto and Sasuke, who kind of already know a little bit about this. Haku and Tamari, not so much. And, well, basically, after all that was explained, Naruto would basically be like, and Haku, what you were wanting to explain. And Haku would just be like, well, I'm assuming you guys know about the three legendary Sannin. Well, the snake Sannin, Orochimaru, he's kind of made his own, village, and that of, was it Rice Country or Tea Country? I think it was Rice Country. Was it? It was one of those. He's made his own village. Otogakure. Or the Sound Village. I know certain things about two people he might be willing to go after. Those two people being friends with one another. And perhaps if we could get to them before he does, well, I think you know. And Naruto would just be like, from the way you sound, they're women. Mm, yes, they are. Oh, well, you have any details on what they look like or what they can do? And Haku would just be like, well, there's a red-haired one who uses her flute to use genjutsu. And, well, there's a darker-haired one. Her name is Keen. And she has a specialty in that of something I have a specialty in. So much so that we actually, well, as until Zabuza said we had to leave, it was almost like a rivalry was trying to form. Because she was good at Simbone, and I was good at Simbone. Every time we had ever sparred, neither of us could get the W over the other. And Naruto would just be like, someone who's good at sound genjutsu. And the other is also good at Senbone. Are they good at anything else? And Haku would explain, well, much like with me, how there's more to me than just Senbone, I also have my ice release. It's more or less that her Senbone are laced with. She more or less has the choice of the usual Senbone or Senbone laced with bells that can assist her whenever it comes to fighting someone. Lacing them with bells. Interesting. Well then, everyone, I think we know what we're gonna do next. And basically, yeah, everybody would pretty much, at the end of the day, be pretty pumped and hyped. You know, eventually they were gonna run into certain people. And let's cover a certain someone first. Basically, you know, a certain area Naruto was molested, trying to basically figure out from what little hints that, you know, Haku could give him where they might be. And, well, basically, one time Naruto would just be walking rather close to the outskirts of the village, and where he would pretty much, you know, be around some neighboring villages. They seem pretty depressed, though. whenever trying to pry for information, well, they didn't exactly want to speak up. So Naruto basically just ended up walking around the village until it got late at night, and then Naruto was basically going to eventually leave. That was until he basically smacked into someone. And basically, he would realize that this someone had 6 freaking arms. And basically, he would kind of also be chewing them up and spitting them out. You know, just like shouting profanities. Like random ones too. At Naruto, for what reason, he's not really all that completely sure. I mean, he just bumped into him. I mean, technically, he's the one who feels more knocked down than this guy, because this guy, you know, has 6 arms, and Naruto was barely even paying attention. He was so lost in his damn thoughts. He's strolling around this place. That's whenever some lady who basically matched the description of one of the people who Haku told Naruto about would basically get up in the 6-armed guy's face about, you know, giving away their location. And then this 6-armed guy would just be like, well, what does it even matter to you, yeah? It's not like anyone can stop us. Besides, Lord Orochimaru, he needs that stuff, and soon. Or else he won't be able to perform the sacrifice needed to please Manda. And then the lady would just complain about ever needing to summon the snake in the first place. That's whenever some weird sideshow circus-looking freak would just pop out of nowhere and be like, if there's anything me and Ukan agree about more than anything, it's that the two of you are drama queens. Second, more like drama king and drama queen. All they need to do now is kiss and make it professional. Don't you mean official? Shut up, Sakon. And basically, then there would just be this fat guy who would just be like, hey, I didn't say you could speak. And Naruto would just blaze around and see what was going on. Basically, see this big guy, you know, kind of being very abusive towards this young lady and her family. Basically having them all up in a row. And he'd basically be like, now, what Lord Orochimaru needs from all of you. Which one of you wants to be sacrificed first? Because I really don't care. All I care about is fulfilling his wishes. And Naruto would just get pissed. And Naruto would basically, you know, just like, okay, Fatso. He'd be like, okay, Fatso, you wanna be an overall jerk to everyone? I'll show you what I will get you in front of me. And Naruto would just be like, Amaterasu. And basically what would happen is, this person's body would just erupt into black fire. And if you guys are wondering, yes, this is a Sound 4, but this is before they got their curse marks. Like, not even level 1 curse mark. They don't even have their curse marks yet. And basically, yeah. Naruto would just be like, Amaterasu flame control. And then he just formed the rib cage and an arm out of the rib cage. It would just go and like burn out. And just killing him. Yeah, Jiroba would have just been destroyed. And, well, Satcon and Yukon, basically, they'd just be like, holy shit. Holy shit. And Kimimaro would just be like, Kitamato, I think that's how his name is pronounced, Kitamato, would just be like, ah, crap. Oh. Bleh. He would just shoot out one of his golden spider webs. And basically, stick Naruto to a house, like one of his arms, and be like, he just like bow and arrow, and be like, this will teach you. There's like, shoom. And basically, something that would kind of weird the frick out of Tayuya. That is until she finally freaking realized who was doing this. And Sakon and Yukon would just, like, be pissing and shitting themselves. And considering that Yukon is, like, freaking, like, stuck to Sakon, that would, like, be you. Yeah, basically. Instead of actually firing the arrow at Naruto, basically what would have just now happened is, well, that's what Kitamato would have thought would have happened, but instead, basically Kodo Matsukami'd and literally thinking that, but instead, he basically just did it to himself. So hard that he actually split, like, from the waist, like, that direction. So hard that his upper body skyrocketed into the air. As in, like, fireball jutsu. And the fireball jutsu would just enveloped his top half. And that's whenever, basically, there would just be the arrow. And, well, Naruto would shun over to the arrow, grab the arrow, shun back, and basically use Amaterasu, like flame control, onto the arrow, and just stab his, like, waist, like, straight through. Like, shish kebab it. Basically causing it to explode, along with the arrow. As soon as he said, burn out. And Tayuya at this point would just be like ultimate fangirl mode. Like this strong man. Like I don't really know whether to call it like a tsundere or a yandere, but it's definitely something. that Tayuya has here right now. For this very strong male. And, well, it would just kind of be like Sakon, who'd come and be like, ah, shit, what do we do? And Naruto would just be like, you die, that's what. He would just be like, you die. And, yeah. Naruto would just have like the Susanoo ribcage and arm, and he would just use the Susanoo arm to flick Sakon and Yukon all the way into a mountain range. To the point where it exploded like with a sonic boom that would literally grind Ukon, you know, the one attached to Sakon. It would grind him into an Ukon paste. It would kind of be melted into the inside of Sakon's, like, everything. And so it would kind of burn him from within to where he would just, like, die as he was, like, melting. So they both would have just melted to death. Yeah, and just turned into a paste. Like just a blood paste. And Naruto would have just realized this girl who's also supposed to be a part of this team, she seems to really be freaking into me. And, you know, Naruto would just be like, hey, they said your name was Tayuya? You so happen to know a girl by the name of Keen? Or Ken? Or whatever the frick. And Tayuya would be like, yeah? Why? Do you know where she is? We really don't get to talk a lot. And Naruto would be like, oh, so you guys are good friends. Like, you girls are good friends. Oh, well then. Well... Let's see... Let's see if we can't have some fun with this. I don't think either you or me are too arrogant about the Chunin exams and their existence in this shinobi world. And, like, basically, Tayuya would be like, yeah, well, why does that have to do with anything? Like, what does that have to do with anything? And Naruto's like, because we're gonna need an inside spy. I think you could be the perfect material. Besides, with this little opportunity presented itself to you, you could indeed actually be able to spend some time. But not too much, as we need to at least make it to the tower and have you not be found out. And Tayuya's like, oh, I get it now. Yeah, the second part of the exam, the Forest of Death. Of course, I'll be your inside, intel. Kind of like an information broker. Basically, yeah, this is where I'm gonna stop. On the Idosis good action, remember, so you out to your boys, like, favorite, subscribe. So then the comment section, click that little bell. About, like I said, slide shoes. Eat. And misdirection. Without hand motions this time. Back